When you're in the studio producing music, do you have a method? Do you always approach it the same way? Like, do you start with a concept, with a routine, or just experiment and see what comes out of it?
No, I don't experiment. I'm usually going in the studio off of reading a book or watching TV or watching a movie.
What's the last movie you saw?
Last night it was a movie called Dear White People.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Yeah, and
Good.
interesting. Yeah, yeah, very, very interesting movie in Paris. I'm usually producing music off of something else. So long conversation with my wife about time travel or a film, you know, that I seen or something I read in the newspaper or something. That's usually how I end up in the studio because I'm trying to
Take
see if
that
I
to
can
music.
translate this. Yeah, if I can capture this type of feeling in the music. So that's and if I don't do that, I don't go into the studio. So
Once you get in the studio with that feeling, how do you approach it? It's always different, or do you have a method to make music?
there
Always
are
start with this. You
yeah
always start with
yeah
that.
there are certain methods, certain ways that depend. It really depends on the subject. It's like space, you know. I generally start off writing string, uh, string and chords. Not that I'm going to use them. It's just that I feel I'm trying to put myself in the mindset where the sounds are wider and there's more depth
Space, yeah.
and there's more space. And the end track, the finished track may not have anything to do with these strings, but uh, that or percussion or rarely drums do I start off with. Drums are typically the last thing that I add to a track.
Which are usually the first thing that most producers start with, which is interesting.
Yeah, well, because
Get
of the balance,
yeah,
right?
grooves
So that's
going.
usually the last thing that if I can get away with not putting drums on a track, I would prefer to do that. If there's enough music and if it's filling, uh, the mind to the point that I don't need drums, I would prefer I leave it.
Yeah, very interesting. um, the dance scene and the actual predicament of the clubbers and the dance music fans right now is very different. Um, how do you feel? What's the responsibility of a DJ producer, a professional DJ producer in this the scene right now with all that's going on?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It really depends on why each DJ is doing what he's doing to begin with. But I do uh, feel that sometimes more connected to what's happening in the world. I think around us. It partying and DJing and these events, festivals, things. It is a graphic form of escapism. But sometimes I do question whether we should be partying and having ourselves and having such a great time when the world is spinning out of control and in a different way. And sometimes I feel that perhaps maybe we should be dancing for other reasons, not uh, and we can do that if that's what we you know believe. And I think that we in Western culture we party enough. We've done it
Enough.
enough that we can afford to be able to do things for other reasons. Um, still party, still dance, still party, still have a great time, but there can be other things attached to it that we are all collectively coming together for another reason on top of that. That I don't see enough. That I think that not to say that we should turn parties into big political rallies,
Yes.
but there are things that we can
Use the
all
strength
and use the strength of what we're
scene and
doing,
industry.
sure, of course, to agree on things that are just naturally, morally, you know, right. And so I don't see that enough. I wish that this would be something that a lot of people would think about. I would be more than happy to be there to be the DJ for these type of things. Um, and but sometimes I do question, what are we dancing for at times? Yeah, sure.
For us, prodj as a DJ school and a music production school, what do you think, as someone in the industry, that we should be focused on?
Well,
Honestly.
it's not an easy question because there's so much actually. I mean,
We have 8 minutes of tape.
we have 8 minutes of tape. Well, I mean, well, one thing is known: the art form of DJing teaches people to be good managers of time and to make good decisions. You have to know how to make good decisions in order to be able to play music for people. Can't make bad decisions. That makes a bad DJ. So often these people that develop these good choice skills, often it carries over into other things in their life. So you marry well, you stay in good health, you don't do the things that other people may do in other industries. You realize that you are responsible for making the choices of other people when they're dancing. So this we know, and yeah, and so our industry is full of very responsible people and very nice people in general. So if you are a DJ, you are actually becoming part of this community of people that really believe in what they're doing, and they work tirelessly to make it better. So if you want to be a DJ, this is what you're getting into. It's important to know that there isn't any one particular way to do anything correctly. In fact, it's never really been defined what you're really supposed to do with these records and music. And so the idea that you can always experiment and break away from the norm is something that is always there. And no one, as long as I've been DJing, no one has been convincingly been able to tell me that what I'm doing is wrong. No one has proved to me that what I'm doing is wrong. And so that
makes it right.
Yeah, so I can contest to the idea that whatever idea, no matter how crazy it is, you're probably thinking about the right thing to do. So so if you're producing music and it doesn't sound right, that's probably something that you should investigate a little bit more to figure out why it doesn't sound right. And so if it sounds like something that you heard a million times, I would suggest that you probably erase that track and move on to something else. But it's overall, the art form has the ability to be able to teach an enormous amount of things about life. Well, not just technical skills, but about life in general. So it makes you a great communicator. You know how to express yourself. You lose the fear of being in front of people, and as a result, you actually become closer to people that you don't know. So at a DJ at my age and my level, you can go anywhere in the world and find a way to fit in and communicate with people. So by doing that, you can accomplish a lot. You can see a lot. You can learn a tremendous amount. You can take all this information and then go back and make music that would relate to even more people. And so that's the cycle and the thrust that you have in this industry. The longer you do it, the more wiser you get, the more you know how to use the information and the things that you've learned to speak to people even more. And so people like to say that older DJs are, you're past your time. Actually, it's the opposite. It's the accumulation of years of knowledge.
Yeah, it's not a physical.
No. It's like you're in university. If you study archaeology, Egyptology for 50 years, you have a huge knowledge of the field. DJing is no different. So, you may be 21 years old and maybe, but when it comes to knowledge, because
It builds.
because music and mixing is another form of communication. So the more you deal with it, the more hours you rack up, the more nights and the more people you play for, the more experience you have and you know how to communicate in many different situations. So actually, older DJs, and I'm one. When I say older, probably over 40, I guess, are literally just huge vessels of knowledge of music and interaction with people. It's not something that you can learn or buy software for, or see 10 DJs and then decide that you have this knowledge. It's something that you really have to live. So so I have to say that, on the defense of older DJs.
Not old, older.
Wiser DJs, more mature DJs.
Mature.
Yeah, I mean, you in your lifetime, in my lifetime, I've seen things work and fail, and I know the reason why. So
That would be a really good advice for someone that's starting, right?
Well, just to wrap it up, do you have any advices for someone that's starting in this industry and wants to be a DJ and really, really wants to learn it the good way?
Right.
What do you advise?
Well, I think one is a more of a technical thing, and the other one is more of a psychological thing. I think the first thing I would advise is that the person should learn how to play an instrument, or at least learn how to operate an instrument, to see how notes and chords are created, and at the least case, learn how to play percussion, because a lot of dance music is really based on percussion. So the more you understand how the scales and how tempos and inflection and all those things work, the easier it is for you to be able to listen to something and interpret it. You understand how music is put together, so it's easier for you to produce it. The psychological aspect, I would suggest, if you are a person that thinks that it's better to not watch the world, you're probably making a mistake. I think that you can't be in the people business and not know what people are like. And so if you are a DJ, if you want to be a DJ and you want to really understand how to play music for people, you have to know them. So you have to know what people are doing and what they think and how and what they're like. And by doing that, you have to pay attention to them. So you need to watch the news, you need to read the newspaper, you need to learn about people, all the good and all the bad things. You need to know who you're trying to play music for, and the only way to do that is to watch them, is to listen to them, to see how people are actually evolving. And I get into many conversations with a lot of younger people saying that they don't watch TV anymore. They don't even own a TV. They get their news from the internet and things like that. And I think that's great. But I think what makes a great DJ is a person that understands people, the psychosis of what people are actually going through. So if it's not a good time in people's lives, you need to understand that. If there's things happening in the world that people are very happy and you need to understand that. You need to know how to apply music to make them feel even better whatever. So I would recommend this probably more than anything is that you need to study and be around as many different people that you don't know, strangers, as much as possible.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this lovely time with you. And I'm sure everybody will be at home thanking you too. Thank you.
Thank you.